These guys make art for the garden, and to say I'm a fan is a bit of an understatement. Just from the gate to here is taking my breath away.
Oh, thank you.
And to see this is your studio, your workshop, I can see where you get your motivation from.
Well, we're lucky to live in this environment, and it's so inspiring.
And what's this one going to be?
Well, this is an order for a bird bath, so it's a multiple ring.
Now, how do you break it up? You do all the grunt work and the cutting and welding, and you do all the critiquing, is that right?
All the criticism. Well, we generally work on each piece together. I say Folko does the clever stuff, and then I come along and do all the finishing work.
How did it all start?
I did ice carving and even margarine and butter sculptures for buffets, and continued on. And then when we made the big move to Tasmania, we decided to aim our creations directly at the gardener. One of the reasons for moving down here was availability of sandstone.
Well, there's no better place to see your sculptures than in the garden where they're meant to be. This must just sell itself when you bring people through here.
It's irresistible.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's our shop front.
Nice shop front.
Yeah.
These bird cages with the stone in it, it's got a bit of humour to it, it's fun.
The flying pigs put everyone, all our customers, in a good mood,
Yeah.
and they leave here with a smile on their face.
So this is the newest stuff.
This is it. This is what we're most excited about at the moment.
Stainless steel and gold. It's a little bit more bling than rust.
It is, and the inside is gilded stainless steel using 24
So
carat
real gold?
Real gold, yeah. Not only that, it's got a light inside, so at night it becomes a light sculpture. And it spins as well.
2 for the price of 1.
2 for the price of 1.
And what else is there? So this one's stainless and rust.
And it spins as well, so we can turn it around.
And I like the view through the sculpture as well. And this is what I know you for. I could imagine this on a rural property or the gates to a new subdivision. That's where I've seen them. What's the sort of time frame to make one of these?
Well, I answer that question every time by saying that it took me 20 years
Nice.
to figure out how to make it cost effectively.
And how about this for a location to show off their work? An ordinary backyard swimming pool converted into something pretty special.
We build a big retaining wall in the middle of it and put a couple of truckloads of gravel on one side. You add fish and you add plants, you get a system of having a natural swimming pool. You can still swim in it, the water's very clean, but it's all natural.
And what's the history of this beautiful house?
The house was built in the early 1800s. It was called Cornucopia when it was built, and then apparently in about 1860 there was a Dr. Lempriere living here. He planted the oak trees and changed the name to Oakwood.
And of course your sculptures fit into smaller spaces as well, and you've got them all set up here. You could easily apply this into a small courtyard at home, couldn't you?
Yes, we do have a big range of sculptures for more intimate gardens, and the main ones being the bird baths.
If you're having a party, you can fill them with ice and serve champagne out of them.
That's the first thing I thought of. Folko and Maureen sculptures have not just brought a smile to my face. Now, I hate to think, but I think this button here is the exit. See ya. They've also inspired me. I've got something in mind. A bit like their bird bath / ice bucket idea, but different. You'll see. Fire pits and fire bowls have become a really common element in backyards, and for good reasons. They're fantastic. I love nothing more than firing it up in the cool of the afternoon, sitting around with your best mate, waiting for the evening to kick in. But when you're not using them, they can be a little bit unattractive. Well, what about if you could give it another job, another look, and make it usable all year round? I'm going to turn it into a coffee table. There you go, job done. See you on next week's show. Just kidding. This is the formwork so we can pour a concrete lid over the top. Now, steel and concrete are two of those materials that add a touch of class to your garden, and it's pretty easy to work with. So I need to make a circle out of my formwork that's going to sit snugly inside that bowl. It's got to sit 35 mil down from the top of the lip so we can pour the concrete nice and thick and even. Formwork done, and the hole, it's not a mistake and it's not going to look like a mistake, will be a perfect spot for either a planter or an ice bucket. And it's got another purpose. You take those two things out and it's your handle to lift the concrete out. To form up the circle for my handle, I've just cut the top off an old pot because I know it's perfectly round and what I want to put inside it will fit like a glove.
I need to tap that down. Plus, shoehorn in pieces of core fluid around the edges. That just gives me a bit of breathing space so the concrete fits snug, but it's still loose enough to pull out.
Now all the edges are watertight, which means it's concrete tight, and I've got a little bit of mesh to go in there to give it strength. Concrete's only as strong as the the reinforcement that you put in it. Keep it away from the edges, that way no oxygen's going to get to the steel and cause concrete cancer. Now I'm going to make my own concrete. 3 parts sand, 2 part gravel, 1 part cement.
Mix it up. Pour half your mud and add the mesh.
I'm tapping it into place, and once I get it that it's sitting well below that rim, I can then add a little bit more concrete and float it off. And like sands through the hourglass, time has passed. 7 days later, it's nice and firm. But concrete keeps curing forever, so it'll be about a month until it's really set and nice and hard. But it's strong enough to play with now. Let's get rid of this formwork. Going to seal the concrete with a paving sealant. Now it's UV safe, it's not going to break down, it's really easy to reapply. And when you're finished, it looks like wet concrete, which is sexy. And with a planter, it looks pleasant. But set up, ready for party time, it looks super inviting. Now, it's a one-off piece. No one else has got one. It's a real conversation starter. It looks $1 million, and it's absolutely practical. But you can see my mate's disappeared. I think Danny's a fan of the fire. Either way, I can change it next week.
Okay, this is for the warmer months. But for now, fire her up.